Good evening. Welcome to another edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube. My name is Leon Jones, and today is the first video of 2024. Yesterday, January 2nd, season of Capricorn, was my 59th birthday. Celebrated it very nicely with some steak and ribs at the Texas Roadhouse. And today, I'm going to get into a topic that is going to come into play. It's part of the scam series, and it's going to come into play because of income tax season. And generally, what I see during income tax season is used car sales. Now, buying a car can be a very difficult process if you don't understand the procedures. And when it comes to income tax, this is going to correlate with the tax preparer scam that I did last week. Why? Because they go hand in hand. And you have some jackleg car dealers out there that want you to make a down payment with your income tax check. Now, you're going to see commercials out there: no credit, bad credit, good credit. The problem is, you may have somebody at that car dealer who's going to process that income tax check for you for down payment. Now, let's share the screen and let's talk about it. And I'm going to entitle this video, Avoid Car Buying Scams During Tax Refund Season, because W-2s are ready to come out. Now, with the tax refund season, it's going to be in full swing. So what is everybody looking to do? They're looking to use their extra cash for something worthwhile, and they're going to make a worthy purpose. You're not buying a house. What are you going to buy? Well, for many, buying a used car tops their list of purchases during the season. Now, getting a car is almost a necessity, as it takes away many challenges like transportation and ease of movement during emergencies, especially if you live in the Northeast, Midwest, and the West where it snows. And of course, if you don't live in an urban area where you have to use a car, where you need a car because there's a lack of mass transportation like a bus system. Now, this is why making a good purchase is necessary and why you should avoid falling prey to car buying scams. Now, what's going to happen is you're going to have many auto scammers. They're also aware of the car buying rush during the tax refund season, and they're also looking to earn money off of unsuspecting victims who fall into their traps. Now, what you're going to see in this presentation is I'm going to provide you with the information that you're going to need to avoid car buying scams. And the information is going to be some helpful tips on buying a used car without any hassle. Now, how common are used car buying scams? Or how common are used car sales scams or buying scams? Well, most of us really don't pay this any attention, but car sales scams are more common than you know. Why? Because there are many different types of car buying scams that you can get conned in a heartbeat if you're not aware of it. Auto scammers are professionals, and they're well grounded in the tricks that they're going to use to defraud victims of their hard earned money. Now, one of the best ways to ensure that you maximize your money during refund tax season and make a worthy used car purchase, you're going to have to be one step ahead of the fraudsters. So, many common types of fraud that you may see or you hear about, and here's how they work. Now, first of all, you have to have knowledge and up to date information about the various used car buying processes. And this is going to help you work your way out of any tricky situation that scammers use. You're going to have to be on high alert. And even if a deal sounds too good to be true, sometimes you're going to have to back out of any deal that in your gut feels good and it's probably going to get your heart pumping. However, backing out on that deal could be one of the smartest things you need to do because you don't know what kind of car you're purchasing. Now, I will tell you, there are common types of scams that you need to know. Let's talk about financial fraud. Well, financial fraud basically involves being swindled out of your money before you can get a glimpse of the car. Usually, there is no car to sell in the first place, just an eager crook looking to scam you out of your money. So, what happens with financial fraud? It occurs in many ways. You can detect them in different circumstances. Now, one of the most common types of financial car fraud is the impersonation of trusted dealerships. Many times, scammers like to think ahead of their victims. Why? Because they know that people looking to buy cars would feel more comfortable buying from a trusted auto dealership. So they set up a fake identity claiming to be one. Then to go a step further, asking you to pay a deposit to secure the car. Many other buyers are interested in the same vehicle. And this is what they do with your income tax money. And this is known as deposit fraud. So what happens is the impersonating dealership prices a car for less than it's really worth, making it really attractive to buy. Now, as soon as you pay into the fake dealership account, everything disappears. Now, another financial fraud is the every scam vehicle are running into gift cards. Well, this is also common for the car buying scam because in this scam, gift cards are involved. Now, this type of fraud is very dangerous because what happens when you go buy a gift card, the money becomes untraceable. So when you dial the supposed car dealer's fake contact number, they request you to pay for the really good car deal using a gift card, then send them a code to them afterwards. So what happens when you do that? Well, they go off the grid like they never existed. Now, what is that common to? That is common to the tax preparer scam, where they take your money, they basically front load you everything and they inflate the amount of refund you get and they disappear. And you'll be responsible for receiving more than what the original refund cost or was calculated to be. They don't deal with the IRS. Well, that's the same thing here with the gift card scam. And something else that you're going to have to understand, these jackleg car dealers, they love to hide the repair state of the car. And again, with any used car, they come with some fault, or else the owner wouldn't want to get rid of that car so easily. So I'm just going to say this. Beware of any car dealer who claims that the used car you'd like to buy has no damage or need for repair. That's almost a red flag. This is when you need to get Carfax. Now, just so you know, forget about the good looking deal. Try to find out about the underlying costs that you may be on the hook for once you make the purchase. Because once you sign that contract, you're in. You can't get out of it. Now, one of the major car buying scams you should look for is a manipulated odometer. What do I mean? What do I mean by a manipulated odometer? You know, some people try to push that odometer back. Well, odometer fraud is one way auto dealers alter the true worth of the car to sell a less expensive car at a higher price. And one way to detect this is if the dealer says things like, I've gotten a few miles driven out of this car, or I've only driven this car a few times. So the mileage is very low, which is some real good bullshit that they're throwing. Now, if a car model is too old and mileage on a car reads just a few miles, you need to be very wary of that purpose. Why? Because the mileage on the car should tally with the mileage on the vehicle's maintenance data. And you need to check when the car has been last maintained. Oil changes. Something that I look at too. Look at those rotors. Are they rusted? Pull the tires off. I mean, you're spending your income tax money. You need to do a full inspection. And something else you need to do. And car dealers hate it. I would do this. You really want to scam these scammers? This is even before you take the car out for a test drive. Ask them to put a piece of white paper under the car. Now, why am I saying this? You want to check for leaks. If it's pink, guess what? You got some transmission fluid problems. So that means it could be a broken seal in the transmission. See if the transmission is rusted. If it's black, black oil is a problem. That means that oil hasn't been changed in a while. So you got a lot of grit in that engine. Dirty oil. Oil should be, depending on what you use, synthetic oil. It's not clear, but it should be, depending on what it is, kind of brownish. But it should not be dark black. Then you should check the lights, the horn. You should basically check the tires, look at the treading. That's for a car inspection, but you're using your income tax money for this car that this salesman is trying to put you in. Now, another way dealers may scam unsuspecting victims is by what we call title washing. And this is important. Why? Because sometimes cars that have been condemned as salvage or junk are reworked to conceal their true state. Then they're transferred to a new state that doesn't have a record of the car and issues the car a clean title. So you, as an unsuspecting buyer, will go ahead and make the purchase, and you'll buy a car. Once you make that purchase, you have a car that's basically been previously declared as useless and unsafe for the price of a perfectly good car. Now, a number of states out there, they require annual inspections. See when the car was last inspected. And what I mean by annual inspections, they actually go through basically a maintenance inspection to make sure that it is safe to drive, and you get stickers. I know in Pennsylvania, I had to get a inspection every year. And with the environment, they're going to check to see if your O2 sensors, catalytic converter are all right as well. Also, We get into something, and the documentation tells it all. Selling stolen vehicles. It's something, and these are jackleg car dealers. See, what jacklegs do is they'll buy a car as is, claim that they fix it up, and they really didn't. They might make it look good, but you even have stolen vehicles with forged documents. Now, it is a common practice for auto scammers to use falsified documents just to sell you a car. Now, there are a few ways they go about this. One is by using a stolen title. Here, they use stolen documents, which they have modified to attempt to sell you a car. Now, if you don't look closely, you will pay for a car without credible documents. Forging documents is also another way thieves get away with stolen vehicles. What happens is the dealer creates look-alike documents. That sounds common. You have scammers out there who have websites. They're look-alike websites, but you can tell if they're fake. Well, here with the car buying scams, the dealer again creates look-alike documents. And what happens? They're used to fool victims and they sell off cars that have been stolen. Others may claim that they do not have the car's title on request because it is missing. Now, that should automatically be a red flag. If there's no title for that car, don't even buy that car. And then you got to look to see if the car has been flooded, because you have hurricanes. And some of these cars, like Hurricane Sandy or Hurricane Katrina, these cars have been flooded out. You have to check everything about that car. Now, here's the $1,000,000 question: how to spot a fraudster. Now, there are certain behaviors and actions you can look for to spot a car dealer fraudster. Number one, they refuse to allow you to inspect the car before purchase. If that happens to me, I'm out. They're also in a hurry to sell off the car at a ridiculously low price. They also tell you the car has been in a minor accident without offering any further information. First of all, if there's no Carfax, or if the car has been in any type of accident, regardless of what it is, I don't care if it's a scrape, I'm not buying that car. I just mentioned this. They also give you a refusal of checking the maintenance records of the car. And something else that they want. Everything comes down to payments. They prefer to use untraceable methods of payments like gift cards or wire transfers. Cash. When something involves cash, cash is untraceable. And also, they require a deposit without any concrete agreement about the car. And what is that deposit that they're requiring? Your income tax refund check. This is why you're going to see a lot of commercials out there, and they're going to be coming up for the next, from now until April, on getting you to use your income tax refund check as a down payment. And they also masquerade on private car sellers on Craigslist. So, in other words, when you deal with these jackleg car dealers, and I know JD Byrider is one of them. Oh, here's what they'll do: they will purchase a car about 2,000. They'll jack that up to 5,000, 6,000. So you'll be paying twice, 3 times market value for that car. Now, there are only a few ways to spot scammers, but they are the most common hacks that fraudsters try to use. So how do you protect yourself from buying a car during tax season? Because you have a lot of scams out there. Number one, Examine a car before you purchase. Check all the vitals and take the car on a test drive if necessary. They say if necessary. If that car can move, take it around the lot. And if you see something unsuspecting, don't buy a car. Also, have an independent mechanic to check it out as well. Big thing you need to do. Be sure to get a vehicle history report to check that the car history matches the information the dealer gives you. Common sense on this one. Never sign a contract without reviewing it carefully. And you must have an understanding of what's in that contract. And paperwork, folks, I can't explain this any better or any more simple. When you do paperwork, ensure that you have all the copies of your paperwork and documents you have signed. You know why? They will come in handy in the future. So you may be going downtown to the courthouse. Make sure you keep copies of all of your paperwork. Now, what happens if you fall into the trap? Well, if you fall victim to a car dealership scam, there's always hope. You can contact the Better Business Bureau for a fast and effective response. Why? Because the Bureau will help you get a solution faster than the Consumer Protection Office of your state, which is another way to handle auto dealership scams. Now, if you fall victim to a private dealer, then you need to cough up some ching-ching. That's right, some cha-ching. It's called a fraud lawyer to help. You may also need to report the incident to the police if you realize that the vehicle is stolen. Yeah, because guess what? If you're caught in a stolen car, they might take you to jail. And you didn't even know the car was stolen. And also something, you purchase a car, did they give you temporary plates when you drove the car off the lot? And also, did they give you some type of registration, temporary registration? All cars have to have some registration until you get the main registration. I mean, temporary registration when you don't have the real registration. Now, again, you're looking to buy a car during tax season. I'm just going to say you need to be careful. Auto scammers are on the prowl at this time, and they're looking for you to be their next victim. So before you make a purchase, ensure that you go over the necessary details and pay attention to possible fraud-related behaviors that I've also given you during this presentation. Again, buying a car is very simple, but they're going to be coming after you during income tax season. And this is where car dealers are on the prowl. How do you like me now? Shout out to Kumo D to make themselves rich. And I'm going to keep doing the scam series because there are a lot of scams out there that people don't know. But you will know once you watch my videos. Okay. I'm going to give you some more information on these scams here. Just bear with me. Now, I'm going to use this video for informational purposes only. So fair use, fair use. This gentleman, it's going to be a long video. So kick back. And they're going to, he's going to give you the 5 scams that I've already mentioned that go on during tax season.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you are having a great weekend. It's raining today, but we were in the 60s on Sunday, which is absolutely awesome after that polar vortex thing. Wow, That was crazy. So in today's video, just like the title says, I'm going to show you some tricks and techniques that car dealers do to steal your money, scam you out of your tax refund. This time of year, February, March, end of January, this is when dealers will do everything they can to chase and steal your money if you are a subprime or a deep subprime credit person wanting to buy a car. Subprime, about 630 credit score and below. And these dealers do a lot of tactics, a lot of tricks, and there are some things that you need to know as well. And I'm going to teach you all that stuff in this video. Hey, also don't forget ChevyDudeStore.com. This year, I'm going to be giving a car away to somebody in need. It could be something like a Chevy Equinox there. Over to the right of that Chevy Equinox, a Chevy Traverse for a big family. I'm going to look for somebody who's in need of good, reliable transportation to better their lifestyle and just give it to them. Give them their insurance for the year. Give them a gas card, all that good stuff, but I need your help. If you go to ChevyDudeStore.com, if you buy something as far as merch, a portion of those proceeds will go directly to that. You can also donate, which 100% of the donations will go directly towards my efforts to give a car to somebody in need. So make sure you check out ChevyDudeStore.com. All right, let's talk about the very first one. That is those dealerships who are so kind and so willing to file your taxes for you. This has got to be the biggest conflict of interest I could ever see in the automotive industry. For 19 years I've been selling cars, and for 19 years I've been seeing this. It probably was going on way before then. I just wasn't aware of it because I wasn't in the car business. But for the last 19 years, dealers have been doing this because of one reason. They are getting you your taxes done. For you, it's like, hey, listen, I don't have to pay an accountant. I don't have to pay H&R Block. I don't have to pay Jackson Hewitt, whoever those companies are that you use to file your taxes. You don't have to do it yourself. And they are knowing exactly how much money you are getting. So we're going to talk about this in a second, but then that affects the price of your car, and they can take you and hold your money for ransom and use that as down payment when you may not necessarily need all that money. And typically with a 630 and lower credit score, you probably have some other bills that you can pay, and they don't care about that stuff. They simply just want to take your money, make as much money on the car deal as possible, and get you down the road, and they don't care if they ever see you again. Speaking of all those companies, Jackson Hewitt, H&R Block, do not, and under any circumstance, do not do a cash advance loan. Let the IRS deposit your money into their account. Do not take a debit card from them, not anything. I know it's going to take a little bit longer, but with today's technology, to get a tax refund from the government, pending that there's no government shutdown, it is a very, very short period of time to get your tax refund when it's all done electronically. So do not take a loan from those people. Do not get a debit card with your money on it today. Let the money come naturally from the IRS, so that way you get all of the money that's owed to you. Use a great and a reputable dealer. Do not go to these buy here, pay here places. Do not go to people who say, hey, listen, we get everybody approved, all credit applications accepted. Of course, all credit applications are accepted. That doesn't mean that you're approved. It's just basically saying, hey, we'll take your credit information, run it, and say, oh, sorry, we can't do anything. Or they come back and tell you, hey, 5 grand down, 10 grand down, a big chunk of money that maybe you don't have. So use a good, reputable dealership. If you want to look for good dealerships, obviously you can Google them and look at their dealership ratings, but a really good one, a really good website that I think is underutilized is DealerRater.com. Use DealerRater.com in your area. Look for the manufacturers or the independent dealerships that you want to do business with, see what their customers are saying, and go on from there. Now, a lot of people want to complain about service departments. Service departments all across the country are having some major issues, so take those service department complaints with a grain of salt, but nonetheless, make sure you use a good, reputable dealer. I do have this cool free 8 tips to getting the best car deal. Use that link right there. It's also in the description below. You can download that, and that goes over all of the 8 ways to get the best car deal. Make sure everything is done to your benefit. Another really good tip is post out on social media that you're looking for a vehicle and ask your friends on who they've worked with in the past, the good experiences, the bad experiences. Those are really, really good things. And also for those people with 630 and below credit scores, the manufacturers have some amazing incentives to get you into cars. So we have our Chevy Cruze, we have our...
Now, this gentleman, now go to his channel, ChevyDude.com. Now, he did mention some good information. They can hold your income tax check as ransom. And I just mentioned it before, going to reputable dealers. And again, there's some irreputable dealers like JD Buyrider. And I know they talk about some buy here, pay here dealers. Well, you have some of them that are good, but you got to look at their reviews. A lot of people think the reviews don't mean anything. The reviews are very important. And also, yes, when it comes to your income taxes, you only have to wait a good, if everything is correct, going through the online service using TaxSlayer, Jackson Hewitt. I use TurboTax. Let the IRS give you your money back. Don't rely on any of these other services because number one, they're going to charge you a fee. And number two, getting a loan. This is where they really hold you for ransom. Oh, we'll give you the loan for this amount of money. Remember, you get a loan and then they get your refund check, and are they going to give you everything back? You don't know. And what I mean by everything, let's say you get a loan for $1,000 and they have your refund check for $1,500. Well, they're going to give you back the full $1,500. Well, they might try to add some other details on that contract. And again, this gentleman said buy a car from a reputable dealer. I concur. Let's continue.
Our Chevy Malibus over there, the manufacturer has programs backed for people with challenge credit, with bad credit, with no credit and whatnot, so that will help you as well, that you could get into a newer car with less opportunity to have issues, and they will sit there and get you going correctly and build your business and help your credit get back up so you can come in and buy anything you want down the road. So ask people on social media as well. Car buying habits have changed. Let's talk about these two devices right here. These two devices are your best friend when it comes to shopping for a car. The average consumer is taking anywhere from 45 to 90 days to shop for a car. 95% of the shopping is done online, and you will typically fill out 6 lead generation tools from the car dealerships. If it's on their website or making a phone call or a text message, you're doing about 6 of those on those websites before you make a purchase. Now here's another astonishing huge number over the last 2 years. You're only visiting 1.2 to 1.5 dealerships per transaction. This is National Automobile Dealer Association statistics, okay? So this isn't something I'm making up. You can go out there and find it. And when you come to a dealership, you are less than 3 days of making a purchase. So with that in mind, these two things are a huge lifesaver for you when it comes to buying a car. Dealerships know this, and guess what they do to their websites? They lock them down. If a dealership is gearing towards a consumer with a 630 or 650 or less credit score, let me show you on the computer. Let's look at this website. I blurred out the guilty. As you can see, pretty basic website. For SEO reasons, they don't even have a local phone number up here. They have an 877 number. When you click on anything, all it does is go to this pop-up window to get your information. You can see I'm poking, show me more, help me get approved, show me inventory, and nothing happens at all. So here we're going to a different dealership website in a different city in a different state, and it's the exact same. Now, a lot of these things for the people, dealer for the people, this is a big company that has market shares in different areas of the country. And you can see there's not even a phone number on this website. So for SEO purposes, this is really, really, really bad. So they don't care about search engine optimization. They only care about getting your information and scamming you. Here's what another one looks like. You can see, click on inventory, same basic thing. Give me your information. Let me call you. Again, in the top right-hand corner, an 800 number. So again, they don't care about SEO purposes. They're simply just trying to get your information. So let's go back here and let's put in our information. Let's see what happens. I'm going to use my alias that I use online, so I'm going to blur that all out. But we're going to put all our information in here and see exactly what we get. I think you're going to be surprised. Check this out. We're going to hit view inventory. Of course, it doesn't work. Makes me do it twice. We're going to click it. Bada bing, bada boom, this message comes up. What's this message say? This is the message that we get. This message is 100% a lie. It's 100% a BS. It tells you that their inventory is moving so fast, it's leaving daily. It's impossible to keep an accurate account. Well, let me tell you this. My dealership has over 1,300 vehicles in inventory. We can keep up. This dealership that I'm using as an example is a local dealership to me. They are nowhere near the volume that my store is. Now, my store has 1,300 cars. There's dealership groups out there who have 5 and 6 and 10,000 cars in inventory. And someone like CarMax, I think they have like 40 or 50,000 cars. Let me tell you, this is all done automated. This is simply to make you feel good that, hey, listen, we're going to take care of you, but it's absolutely a scam. So with that being said, my personal opinion is to never do business with a dealership that does not show their inventory on their website. They need to have clear and transparent pricing for you. And the reason these dealerships do not show their pricing is because a lot of times the subprime market has what's called bank fees. This is stuff that's probably you've never heard about, but the bank actually charges the dealership a fee for doing business with you. Now, some banks may charge as low as a $99 fee, and some banks could have, I've seen all the way up to $10,000 fees. Now, those $10,000 fees are extremely rare, but on average, you're looking at maybe $1,000, $1,500, $495, those type of fees. Those fees are a direct reflection of gross profit that the dealership pays. Now, I don't agree with those fees. Obviously, as a dealer, and it affects our profit, those suck. But basically, what happens when you have fees in that, you're going to have a higher interest.
And again, also, when you bring up a website like that, they want you to put your information in. Now, some of the websites do show the inventory, but here's what happens. Your information goes to not the person at the car dealership. I know, ran through a couple of these dealers here in Lafayette, Indiana. And what happens is, once they have your information, you see the inventory, you're going to get constant calls from somebody sitting at home who represents that car dealership, but they are not actual salespeople of the car dealership. You're going to get text messages. You're going to get emails. I know I got a number of them. And again, when it comes to tax season, they want to reel you in. They know that money is coming. And also, when it comes to credit, yes, they will accept any credit application. However, here's what they don't tell you. When they utilize your credit report, whether you got a 850, 750, 650, it's going to be a credit inquiry on your report. And when you get a credit inquiry on your report, that's going to bring your credit rating down. Now, generally, when it comes to the income tax, most of these individuals have poor to fair credit. I want to say between 400 and 650. This is the area where you're also going to have a higher interest rate. So what's going to happen? You're going to have to put down a greater down payment. And when it comes to these income taxes, or your income taxes, the car dealership is going to try to scam you out of all of your income tax refund. People don't know this. This is why Number one, you need to keep a pretty decent credit rating. And also, don't be so desperate to buy a car. Because right now, you don't see any jack legs up today. But you're going to see them up in a few weeks. Everyone's approved. We got the car for you. Kinds of ads. This gentleman, Chevy dude, again, check his channel out. He works at a Chevy dealer. I'm a Chevy fan, but he mentioned inventory, Carfax, or CarMax. CarMax, well, we got our Equinox from CarMax up in Maryville, Indiana. Very good cars, reputable cars. Again, when you pull a website up and they don't show you any inventory, back out of it as soon as possible. Why? Because there's a scam going on. They probably have no cars on the lot because some of these websites will tell you, oh yeah, we have a large inventory. When they don't, you go by that dealer, they may have a few cars on that lot. I'm just giving you this information so you don't jump to a snap decision, buy a car with your income tax money, because your income tax money could go somewhere else. Fair use. Let's continue.
Interest rate, and then the bank charges a fee which gives them more profit on the rate of return that they have. I don't agree with those fees in any way, shape, or form, as I said before, but it's the way of business and there's nothing that we can do about it. But the reason dealerships don't show pricing is that way they can hide the fees in the price of the car. Once they pull your credit, they basically have a really good idea of the fee that they're going to charge. So if they're willing to sell a car for $12,000 and they think they're going to have $1,000 fee, they're probably going to jack it up to $14,000 or $15,000 and let the bank tell them what they can sell it for and how much profit they get. There's also companies out there who have access to the dealership's management system, that's DMS, and what they do is they can look at that stuff and say, you can sell this car for this amount of profit, blah, blah, blah. So don't do business with dealerships who are not clear and transparent on their pricing. And the best websites to shop for cars is Car Gurus, True Car, Edmunds. Those are the top websites out there. Auto Trader is a really good one. And those types of dealers are not advertising on those companies because that requires them to be clear and transparent. And with Car Gurus, I'm a huge fan of Car Gurus. With Car Gurus, they sit there and they will tell you if the price is good or not. So trust Car Gurus. Let's talk about that right there. Used pre-owned cars, generally used. Dealerships all over the country are saying, we will pay you $5,000 over your car's worth. Just bring it in. $3,000 over your car's worth. We'll give you $5,000 more than Kelley Blue Book trade-in value. Blah, 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 blah. It's all a lie. 100%. It's all a lie. And every single time you have a trade-in, this question has to be asked. Will you write me a check for that amount? So basically you can go out and say to that customer, to that salesperson, excuse me, and say, I think I've changed my mind. I really don't want to buy your car, but you have given me the most amount of money than anybody else has. Will you write me a check for my trade for X, what's on their paper? There's two answers, yes or no. There is no in between. If a dealership does not or will not be willing to write you a check for your trade-in, they are lying. Dealerships all over the country have signs in front of their dealerships. They have signs up on their buildings. They are infamous for it. We will buy your car, we'll pay you cash. Why do they do that? Because auction prices are way too high. There's way too many fees at auctions, transportation costs. If they can buy a car locally, it allows them to put a little bit more money in your car, and then also allows them to possibly have an opportunity to make a little bit more profit. Now, profit is not a dirty word. We are in a profitable business. We are also the most transparent business in the world when it comes to new car pricing structure. So when you ask the dealership, will you write me a check for that amount for my car, you know that they're being truthful. But it goes back to what I was saying earlier. Look at the reviews. When you ask that question, will you write me a check? Then yes, is the answer. You know you've got a good, reputable dealer. It's so easy to sell a car. It's so easy to do the right thing, yet dealerships still don't do it. I want to say this one caveat though. There are a whole lot more good dealerships in this country than there are bad ones. I'm talking to about the very small percentage of bad ones that we can run into. And we have to go to the #1 infamous thing that dealerships do to scam you out of your tax refund. And that's these guys right here. I collect these things because they are absolutely astonishing what dealers pull and what they pay. Blinking third brake lights. Remember that video I did? It's got 2.3 million views. It's up here in the top right hand corner. Door edge guards, $199. Pinstripe, $199. These door edge guards were on a Chevy Spark, and they were basically just 3M stickers on it. They probably cost 20 bucks to put on. A pinstripe, $15 to put on. This one here, pinstripe, $98. Nitrogen in your tires, $40. Auto Butler. We have no idea what Auto Butler is, but it's $300. There was 700. Oh, spray and bed liner, $700. So I have a deal with Linex for $415 in a full-size truck for a spray and bed liner. This one was a really good one. Dealer Prep, $995, includes cleanup, inspection, pre-delivery service. That's something that's done on every car from the manufacturer that they pay for. And then I found this one pretty funny, window tint, $399. Absolutely scam. I have a place here in Louisville that does window tint for $199 on a full-size SUV, and it's ceramic tint. So it's really, really good stuff for $199. So don't pay those stickers that you see on cars. They are a scam. So as always, as it's done raining here in Louisville, whew, thank goodness. Rain's my second worst weather outside the cold and snow, but it's done raining here, so I can be outside just a little bit more on a nice 56-degree cloudy day. I'll take it over single digits. But I just want to say thank you so much for watching the video. Make sure you share this video. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you turn those bell notifications on. And if you like the video and want to see more like this, leave a big old fat thumbs up as well. So thanks again for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day and drive safely.
Very good information. Yes, I'm about 2.5 hours from Louisville. ChevyDude.com. Go and subscribe to that gentleman's channel. He gave some great information, and some of the information that I gave you, he repeated it. So basically, overall, you have to use your common sense when you go out and buy a used car during tax season. Also, make sure you don't go by any jackleg dealers, because you're going to have a lot of shady salesmen out there, and everybody is looking for profit. Cars are, for used cars, in my humble opinion, they're much higher today than they were 4 and 5 years ago. But the bottom line, regardless of the price, he mentioned Car Gurus. I'm a fan of Car Gurus and Cars.com. In fact, I bought most of my cars on Car Gurus. Now, I tell you why Car Gurus is great, because they will tell you if the price is fair, bad, or good. And there are even some cars you can put in a year, you can put in the price. Some cars, you can get the Carfax on those cars. And if a car's been in an accident, and I'm just giving you the information from the Car Guru site, going back to the accident, car's been into an accident, you can actually hide those cars that have been in accidents. So basically, do not go to a car dealer in desperation, especially during tax time. You have to ask yourself, do you really need a car? Bottom line is, you're going to have a number of individuals out there scamming you. And if you don't think the scams are alive and well, oh, they're going on. Scams are going on right now behind our backs. And I'm going to expose as many as I can. And another thing, cash and gift cards and wire transfers. because it takes cash to do wire transfers. You got cash, don't use cash. Use something that you can actually get a paper trail. And again, many of these dealers, you know they're shady. They won't let you inspect a car. They won't give you a maintenance record. Look at the title. Also, look at who's come and gone from the dealership and just look at the site altogether. If the site looks shady, it is shady. And also look at the websites, see if they advertise on television. Bottom line is you have to utilize social media. You have to utilize everything during tax season when you're buying a car. Because in the end, these car dealers don't care about you. They care about making a profit. Make that profit, they're going to do. They're going to get into your emotions and utilize methods to scam you. But here on the 411 Talk Zone radio show, my job is to keep you informed about scams because scams are real. Don't be desperate to use your income tax check right away to buy a used car. Think before you act. It's your money. It's not their money. But when you allow them to control your money, you're being held for ransom. And in the end, once they have your money, you're not going to get it back. The reason why you're not going to get it back is because they know you don't have enough money to pay attorneys. So in the end, during tax season, you're going to buy a car, be careful. And watch out for the scams because they are real. But again, it's your money. It's your choice. I'm just here to give you the information. And in the end, I always believe in using common sense, playing it smart. And that's my commentary for this edition of the 401 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube. If you like what I just presented, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you're looking for some STEM content, you check out my second channel, the QCIS channel. That channel will give you a daily dose of science, technology, engineering, and math. Now, once I record videos on YouTube, I will upload them to my Twitter page for the QCIS channel. Since it is educational channel, I will also upload my QCIS channel videos to my LinkedIn page. Because in the end, be blessed for what you have. Don't worry about what you don't have. Always know that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. But if the shoe fits, wear it. If you don't like the shoe, change it. And once again, thank you for listening to this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones. I want you all to have a wonderful and gracious evening. God bless you. I'm out.